What's going on, everybody? Thought I'd do a little video to show you what's really going on. So these lines in the red have nothing to do with technical analysis. They're just marking off the 600 level, 550 level, and 500 level. So in early December, you have Apple up here near 600, and we have tax selling occurring, causing selling pressure. What you also have to exacerbate this move is the options market, which leads to another problem. So this is also taken from early December. We have 70,000 calls up here at the 600 strike. If commercial money is short these calls, they will hedge off that risk with buying shares. The delta on these shares is 50 when Apple is up near 600. So they're long 3.5 million shares with Apple at 600. They're long another, say 1.5 million here, another 2 million here, 1.5 here, etc. I'm just going to concentrate on calls in this video. And so you can see there's a lot of shares long. The closer Apple falls to, say, 500 in this example, the delta will collapse down to 40, 30 on to its way to zero. So the closer Apple gets to 500, the more shares need to be sold off. Now, say 5 million shares all combined isn't a lot of shares, but it's the velocity at which it happens, which brings our second problem. Now, picture this just a tick chart and just say sub-seconds. What'll happen is, say Apple drops 10 bucks, and in the options, for whatever reason, or just a few dollars, and say the options market now needs to dump off 500,000 shares immediately, just like that, and it'll cause this little tick down. Well, what'll happen is with today's electronic market and all the algorithms, they'll, just like a shark just roaming the waters, they'll sense that, just like injured fish on the surface. They'll sense that violent sell pressure, and they'll jump on board. And along with other people, I'm scared. Why is the market going down? Whatever it may be, it'll cause selling pressure, lifts up, sell pressure, lifts up, and so on. And so that's what kind of will get that cascade selling going. The options market will start that ball rolling down the hill, and it will only gain speed from negative articles, people scared jumping on board, etc. So now we're up here at the 550 level, and the same thing. Let's go zoom in. The same thing will happen. Just kind of repeat the process. And this brings us to last Friday when Apple was right here at the 520. Now, what I just talked about isn't manipulation in the sense of doing evil. Really, it's what the option inventors didn't plan for. It's a byproduct of hedging off options. They probably didn't plan on a $500 billion company having just in January having 1 million calls open. It will start to sway the stock just the way it is. Selling mechanics will kick in, and it will move the stock just the way it goes. With Apple here at 520 last Friday, though, there was, no news. It should have just hung out in this void here. Here's where manipulation with malice intent comes in. On Sunday night, rehash of the Wall Street Journal article comes out talking bad about Apple orders, Apple supply chain. Well, there's no way, without that article, Apple would have just hung out in this void. There's no reason for it to move. But we can't have that. Somebody needed Apple at that 500 level. So this is on daily chart. Apple was 520 like we talked about last Friday. Boom, article comes out. Monday, gaps down way lower. Surprise, surprise, right at this 500 level. That's interesting. And then selling begets selling, starts dropping more and more. What you have when it starts, Apple's too low at this 585. We can't have that. We need to be up to this 500 level. Here's where you probably get a little bit of both. What you'll have as far as just mechanical buying, when Apple is below this, when Apple is at 485 right here, you're going to have these put sellers because they're in the money, $15. They could have bought this option when it was $1 and now it's 15. I'm going to take my profits. What happens is the commercial money that's short this, they'll buy they'll buy shares to unwind their hedge. And when everyone's doing that, it'll sling the stock higher so you can get some momentum going. And algorithms on the opposite side can jump on board, get it back to that 500. You also have coincidentally someone on TV making a comment here. I don't know what to make of that, but it's just pretty coincidental. So, Apple's too low at 485. We can't have that. Maybe you get someone on TV and make it go higher. And then on Thursday, Wednesday, whatever this is, you have Apple up at 510. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's way too high. Here's what's kind of crazy, too, about all this is, so this is that when Apple is 510. This is in the pre-market, and here's the open. No way, right off the bat, are hedges being unwound this fast to drop it from 510 and a half or so down to 502. That is selling with an intent. That is no way any sort of hedges being unwound. Look at that. I mean, this is on a 3-minute chart. Just cascading down to the 500 level. And then it's just selling with a purpose. And so on Friday, we know what happened. Apple opens up at 500. Go to a zoomed in one. Apple opens up at 500 and stays there most of the day. So kind of recapping. Actually, let's see. Okay, so you're going to you've been reading some articles that come out. Why did Apple pin at 500? This is just purely market mechanics. What will happen is, this is what really happens, in my opinion. It's kind of initiated from us or anything non-commercial money. There was 120,000 calls that traded on Friday on this January 500 strike alone, and 90,000 or so here. When Apple was down at $4.95, hey, I want to take a shot. I'll buy this call for 25 cents. No way, with hours to go, is anything retail going to be short calls. No way are they going to take that risk, or can they? The only people that are going to be writing calls and puts, so I want to buy it. Who's they're going to sell it to me with hours to go? It's going to be commercial money. Just no way about it. So to hedge off that risk, they're going to buy 100 shares. I buy my one call, they buy 100 shares because the delta is going to be close to 1, we'll just say. Close to 100 shares. When Apple's up here at 503, hey, I bought it 50 cents. I want to take my gain now because I'm not going to hold it in the weekend. I don't have the capital to even buy 100 shares anyways. So I sell it. They immediately need to dump 100 shares. When you have, 50,000 contracts doing this, it's going to cause sell pressure. On the same token, on the opposite side, when Apple's up here at 503, hey, I want to buy a put for 25 cents. Commercial money is going to sell off 100 shares. When Apple's over here, hey, I want to take my profits. So I close down my put. They unwind their hedge. They immediately buy 100 shares to, put them at even, and it flings Apple back this way. All the call buyers, same thing. Well, hey, I want to take my profits now, unwind the hedge, boom, that's how you get it there. Most people are coming at it from the opposite side. Most professional people say, no, it's long commercial money, delta hedging. They're buying calls and then they're selling, they need to sell off their hedges. I think it's the opposite side. It's retail is initiating all this. I'm going in to buy a call. Commercial money steps up. Okay, I'll do it, but I'm going to hedge it off. Okay, now I'm going to the weekend. Me as a retailer, I don't want to be long. I'm selling it off, and that's what pins it. So to recap, you kind of just have a few things going on. Up here is just market mechanics they didn't plan for, a byproduct of options along with everything else, exacerbating to the sell pressure. When you get to this 520 level, Apple should have hung out in here. I think manipulation comes in here to get it to that 500 level. Somebody needed it there. Apple being down to this 485 level, I think it's a little buying mechanics mixed with maybe a guy goes on TV because I don't really know on that part, but anyways, it got to 500 regardless. And the 500 pin is more mechanics, but I think the major story is, why did it drop from even, up at these levels? How did it magically appear to here? Why it closed 500, who cares? Why did it drop from this area is the main thing. That's my 2 cents, so have a good weekend.